Hello, First Presbyterian Church family. Pastor Dan here with a Thursday word of encouragement. I didn't make the Wednesday deadline yesterday, so I'm here on Thursday to give you a word of encouragement. This Sunday, we begin a 3-week sermon series on stewardship. We're going to look at stewardship from how we are spending our treasures, how we are spending our time, and how we are spending our talents. Treasures, time, talents. Stewardship is a great time each year for the church family to take an individual and corporate time of reflection and examination on where our heart is. And Jesus taught in the Sermon on the Mount that where you have treasure here on earth is the way to pinpoint where your heart is. He actually encourages that our treasure be in heaven and not here on earth, because he says, as in verse 21 of Matthew chapter 6, wherever your treasure is, there the desires of your heart will be also. This Sunday, we're going to look at where our treasure is. We're going to take a time of reflection. As we try to locate our treasure, I want us to think about a GPS system. Whether it's on your phone or whether it's installed in your car, those GPS systems are technology that we punch an address and location into, and then we get the directions for how to get where we desire to go. Jesus is saying that wherever we're trying to go here on earth, wherever we have treasure, if you will, here on earth, reflects on what is the desire of our heart. When I was a seminary student at Fuller Theological Seminary down in Pasadena, California, I didn't have a GPS system installed in my car. I didn't have a cell phone. And so I didn't have a GPS system on myself. My GPS essentially was a hard copy map, and eventually my own mind. Now, it was amazing to me how I could remember how to get to Dodger Stadium after going there only once. I knew how to get from either Fuller Theological Seminary to Dodger Stadium in about 20 minutes, or from the triplex that my wife Jess and I were living in, I knew how to get from there to Dodger Stadium in about 30 minutes. Once I had gone once, I knew what highways to get onto. I knew what exits to take. I learned after the first time where I should park to most easily get away from Dodger Stadium at the conclusion of the game. Why was that? Why was it so easy for me to learn without even having GPS? Well, it's because I highly treasured the idea that here I was living in Pasadena near Dodger Stadium. I had never lived closer to a major league ballpark in my life, and I was more than content at that stage in my life to get the outfield seats, the cheapest ones that they offered, And the thought of being able to go to a number of Dodger games throughout a regular season of 162 games, well, I was going to take advantage of that. That was some earthly treasure that my heart desired, and nothing bad. Nothing bad. I probably went to 5 or 6 games that year and had a ball doing that. Yet, it does reveal what I value. You know, a lot of times people say you can figure out what you value when you look at your checkbook and figure out where your money goes. Or today, maybe it's not the checkbook, but maybe it's our online banking account. We can look at our past purchases and it tells us something about what our heart values. They also say how you spend your time can oftentimes reveal what's really important, what's really the desire of your heart. So when we look at our phone calendar, or we look at our computer Google calendar, or if we're still carrying an old school hard calendar, where we are spending our time tells us something about the desires of our heart. And then lastly, you know, people say, where do you offer your talents? See, God has given all of us special, unique talents to ourselves. And where do we offer that to? Obviously, a lot of us offer our talents to our workplace where we get compensated for what we do. But then we also sometimes offer our talents into charitable causes or to youth sports leagues, or maybe to the Scouts, or maybe we offer our talents to the church, recognizing that God gave us these talents and therefore God would be blessed if we were offering the talents He gave us back to Him and to His church. So this is a self-examination time that we're entering into this Sunday and the 2 Sundays that follow. And associated with this is going to be the receiving of a stewardship letter from yours truly. And within that letter, you're going to find a pledge card for 2022. And our desire is for you to prayerfully consider, when it comes to your treasure, time, and talents, for you to pledge what you are feeling led to give. And to do that, we are asking all of us, including me, to really examine where our treasure is, knowing that maybe our heart is given too much to something. You know, going back to the baseball example, when I was in seminary, you know, it would have really been hard on our finances if I tried to go to 20 games during that season at Dodger Stadium. I might have been able to justify, hey, I'm 25 minutes away. I might have been able to justify, I'm sitting in the cheap seats. But Jess and I both at that time, we were both students in school. She was pursuing a history degree. I was pursuing my master's of divinity. And we didn't have a lot of expendable income. And what would it have told me if I had begun to spend into debt to go to those Dodger games in a way that started making it more difficult for us to afford the food we should put on the table to keep us healthy, whether if it was costing us the ability to pay our rent to keep the roof over our heads, or it was costing us the ability to put all the gas in the car that we needed to get from school to jobs and around the Pasadena area. You know, it would have said something if I was, somewhat reckless and just saying, I got to go to the games, even if it is costing us something, what would that say about my heart? Well, we still have to examine that in Pastor Dan today. Today I need to be thinking about, given the fact that I have one child now in college, I have two others that here over the next 3 years and then over the next 6 years will also be entering college. And they want to go to college and they need to be supported in that endeavor from their parents. What would it say if I was more consumed with, if you will, wanting to buy year-round passes to Disney over the next 5 or 6 years for each of my family members, so that we could go to Disney anytime? Hey, listen, I probably initially wouldn't get a lot of pushback on that from family, as we are people that always enjoy the opportunity to get to Disneyland. However, what would it say about where the treasure in this world lies that my heart desires if I'm spending money that could be expended towards my kids' education now and in the future? See, we all have that temptress out there. Maybe it's temptresses, things that we find ourselves allured to. And what more than anything else I want during this season of stewardship at First Presbyterian Visalia over the next 3 Sundays is making sure that our hearts are truly desiring to be closer to God, and that our hearts are truly desiring to give of our treasures, to give of our time, to give of our talents to God, who loves us and whom we, the more we know of that love, are reflexively responding in love to Him. And that our true treasure is going to be found in the eternity we spend with God. And part of what can add to that treasure being all the more enticing is if we know that how we have spent our treasure here on earth, and how we have spent our time here on earth, and how we have spent our talents here on earth, is adding those who are going to be in the kingdom of God for all eternity. What a blessing it will be to know that we will meet those in heaven who they expended their time and their talents and their treasures so that we might know the love of God and the gospel and spend eternity in heaven. And it will be great to meet those whom God impresses upon us to spend our treasure, time, and talents on while we're here on earth, so that they too can encounter the love of God and spend eternity in heaven. That is going to be a treasure that we never tire of enjoying for the rest of eternity. Hey, God bless you all. I hope that you will look forward to stewardship, because it is a great opportunity to examine where our heart's desires are. It's GPS time spiritually, folks. Let's find out. Let's find out where the desires of our heart are leading us, and let's make sure that it's all the more that the desires of our heart are leading us to God and to the kingdom of God, and to embracing more and more people and welcome them into the kingdom of God. God bless you.